Because writing a letter is probably the most common thing you would want to do with the mail merge, there are a couple of little helpful items. If we have a new document, as we have here, and go to our mailings, you'll see the two little items I'm referring to are the greeting line and the address block. Now they're currently grayed out because we don't actually have any data attached. So I'm going to take this base blank document, so you can have a blank document, and just select some recipients. So I'm going to use an existing list. So in our working files, we could use the Excel data employees, and then the employee sheet. Now we can see the greeting line and the address block information are available. Now the way that these work is if I wanted to put the person's address in here, I could simply choose address block, and it would say insert recipient's name in this format. So it's allowing me to mix and match the title, the first name, and the surname. So if I went that way, it would just be the surname family. That would just be whatever is in the first name fields. I think I'll go with there. And in my preview here, we can see what that's going to select from my data. I can even step through to see if it's working. It seems to be working fine. I'd like to insert the postal address. Now, insert company name is grayed out because it cannot find a field in my data called company name. Insert postal address has an option, but the only thing it can find a match for is the actual postcode. Now, if items in your address block are missing or out of order, well, they are missing. I don't have the full address, but I know it's in that Excel file. The reason for that is that my column headings in the Excel file don't match what Word is expecting in an address block headings. So this works great if you call the columns the correct thing that Word is expecting. Or we can actually match the fields ourselves. So we go into match fields, see that it's managed to match the title to the courtesy title and the surname to the last name. Nothing with the suffix, the nickname, or the company. And then the address field, it's only managed to map the postcode. So what I need to do is go to address 1 and say actually that's the house. Address line 2 is the street. City is town/city. State is county. And country, I don't think we have. We don't, so we're not going to match that. And then option information, first name is already mapped to first name. None of the others we have there. Department's mapped to department. Now what I can do is put a little tick in there. It says remember this matching for this set of data sources on this computer. So if I were to open another Excel file with the same columns that I've been using, Word now knows to map them to its columns. So if I say OK, firstly it asks me if you match a field to unique identifier, data from that field will be stored in your publication where others might be able to read it. Do you want to match this field to unique identifier? Well, it's matched the ID of the person. That's not really too sensitive data that we're dealing with, so fine. Now my addresses look a lot better. I can see the full address and I can scroll through and see the full address is being fitted in correctly. So if I say OK, in the merge document, the only field I see is this address block, which is the special field. And I preview the results, I then get to see the address of each of my records. So that's using the address block predefined field entry. If I come down, I can then do a very similar thing for the greeting line. If I click, I can see I have an option here of dear or to. Well, it's going to be dear for this particular letter. And then the format that I want to put their name in. At the moment, it's going title and surname. I might want to put first name and surname and suffix in those cases, or just use the first name. Let's go with full blown thing. Title, first name, surname. And again, just like the address block, I have this option of just scrolling through my data to make sure that that makes sense. That seems to make sense. If it was not finding any of the fields, then I could run the match fields option again from here. Now, because I've already done the match fields, I don't need to do it again for the greeting line. So that's okay. And I get the little chevrons around greeting line, but when I preview, I see my data. So those two sort of predefined blocks work really well if your column headings match what Word is expecting, or if you can easily run the match option. You can do the match fields without having to go into these two. If you know your fields are going to need matching, you can go straight to the match fields, match your fields up in here first, and then go and insert your address block and your greeting line. So the two little tools really that have just been added to make creating letters using the mail merge tool a lot quicker and a lot simpler.